Hi, Aaron.
Hey,
Thanks for helping my project.
no problem.
Could you say a couple words about yourself?
My name is Aaron Reed. I am a nerd. I love things space-wise and board games. That's why I'm here at this nerd store. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's about me.
That's cool. How would you define a nerd?
Okay, so I probably should have used geek, actually. Yeah. So geek, nerd, most of the time you can use them interchangeably, but I would define that as someone who likes things that are typically more intellectual.
Okay.
It can be anything. There are all types of nerds and geeks out there. You know, people like intellectual books, people like board games and playing games like that, but I don't know, it's a more intellectual side of things, I would say.
So, like maybe things with depth, things that kind of deal with like reason and rationality and things that fall from other things.
A lot of logic used.
As opposed to things that maybe it's about feelings or that type of thing.
Like, you know, sports and stuff. I love sports too. I play tennis. There's some thought going on there, but it's a lot more physicality to it. It's not so much thinking as much it is doing. So.
Now that's a whole different aspect. So we got like the mental, which is like the nerd and geek.
Right.
And then you have like the physical, which is like the athletic. What
Right,
would you call
yeah.
the emotional? Just like if you were to describe that. Maybe just emotional.
I feel like emotional kind of permeates all of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to put that one because it's not like you have. I mean, I guess you have TV dramas and,
Sure.
and stuff like that. Books, which there's a lot of overlap because you can read an intellectual book, but there's relationships and things going on in there. Like I love Brandon Sanderson books.
Oh, okay. I think I read some of his. I'm trying to think of what's the most famous one though. It's like in the. And he lives like in San Antonio, I think.
I don't actually know.
Okay.
Wave Kings is the one I like a lot. That's one from him. But I don't know. That one is a good example of emotional and pretty intellectual. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's pretty geeky. It's a fantasy setting. But there's a lot of relationships, and so there's a lot of emotional things going on. So there can be a lot of overlap with those things.
Yeah, it's kind of like the complete package.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Well, I was curious if you knew that NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon.
I did not know that. That actually makes me very happy, though.
So you're thrilled. Good idea.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Now, some people I talk to are like, why are we spending so much money to send astronauts to the moon? We have all these problems on Earth. And I just was wondering, kind of like, what's your take on that?
That one's tricky because, not to get too political, but I don't think the government spending more money on problems necessarily fixes many problems. But NASA and government spending more money on space exploration definitely helps that out. So I think it's probably money better spent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think about all the money that we spend on like military and arms and like nuclear weapons. I mean, like, what good can come out of a nuclear weapon?
Right.
It's just like
Not a whole lot.
Literally, I think it'd be better we just piled up that money and burned it than actually create a something like that.
Yeah. I just think it's a more constructive use of money, I would say, which is hard to say because helping problems here is very constructive, but a lot of these problems are tough. You can't just throw money at them. There's a lot more to it.
Well, actually, it's true with anything, right? Because ultimately, it's about finding the people that are willing to apply their minds and knowledge to the problem.
You can actually help, and that's a really good point.
I mean, like Queen Victoria couldn't fund the moon program. She just didn't have the people, the infrastructure.
You can't just throw more money on that and make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
in 200 years, if you think of how humanity might progress, do you see people like you and me just hanging out like at Dragon Slayers on like the moon and Mars, or do you think that's not in the cards?
that's hard to say because I think it's definitely possible. I definitely see that, certain line of events could happen that could lead to that situation happening. I mean, if you think about 200 years ago, we didn't have, any of what we have nowadays, so I definitely think it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, 200 years ago, we couldn't even record sound. Like, the phonograph didn't exist.
Right, yeah. So, I definitely think it's possible. So I think, NASA starting back up with sending people to the moon, I think that's a great first step. I remember being in, I think, elementary school when I heard that they were kind of stopping all that. NASA started getting, cuts to its funding and everything, I was pretty sad, even in elementary, because I always liked, we'd stop class and watch the rocket launch and everything. So, yeah, I think that's really awesome news.
Did you ever want to be an astronaut?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
What happened? Or are you an astronaut?
I am not.
Okay.
No. It's really fun, but I just don't think I personally have the grit for that.
Okay.
I hate heights. I hate roller coasters. The intensive training too. I might, that might be something I could do, but I just leave it for better people. People that are more capable.
But I guess if the chance is offered to you, like, hey Aaron, we got this trip to space, a million people have gone ahead of you, and they've all come back, and they would be willing to go again. Would you take a trip to space?
The important part is that, a bunch of people went before it came back and everything. I think that might be fun, yeah. I mean, fun, it's definitely a lot of work, it's not like a trip or something like a day vacation, but that would be kind of fun, yeah. That would be pretty awesome. Maybe go to Mars or something like that. That would be fantastic. So.
That might be a multi-year commitment there.
That might, yep, definitely. Just the trip alone would take a long time, so, yeah.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for your time. It's such a pleasure to get to talk to you.
Yeah, no problem. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.